Was it major culture shock coming to the States?
Not not really. It was. What really got me, being from New Zealand and knowing the little bit about the United States that we knew. We thought everybody had a 5-bedroom house and 6 toilets in it and 3 automobiles and everything. And then when I got to the South and driving through, and then I seen the poverty out there, and I said, man, it's not this bad even in New Zealand at that time, So it was a little bit of like, well, what the heck is going on here?
What were your initial thoughts and memories of Eddie Graham?
Well, I got to thank Eddie for getting me in touch with Vince McMahon Sr., and he did it right in front of me, right in the office. It was like 3 weeks, and I asked him, I said, Eddie, did you talk to Vince? He said, no, let me call him right now. And I was, standing up. He was behind his desk and,
wow.
Booked me right there. But I didn't have a whole lot to do with Eddie, but I found him, pretty straightforward, and he was good with me. I didn't make a lot of money down there. That's when I thought, oh my God, what did I get into? But I was still able to save a little bit.
And you were teaming with Johnny Gray, I think, around this period of time.
Yeah. And then he went home. He was engaged, so he was homesick and lovesick. And
what did you think of Eddie as a booker? I mean, some say he's probably one of the best Finnish guys in the business.
Oh, yeah, he was ahead of his time. He was doing stuff down there that I didn't, understand it at the time because I was green, and I thought, well, I'll work as hard as I can, and I was, and I never got elevated. And I thought, well, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And like I say, I was as green as grass there, but I done whatever I thought was right. There was one time he put me in with Ronnie Garvin, and he only wanted about 35, 40 seconds, less than a minute.
Right.
And I said, I can't do that and get paid for it. So I went a little longer. And when I got out, he was a little upset with me. Although he said, what happened? And, I thought I did right, but they were trying to promote Ronnie.
Get him over?
Yeah. And it was supposed to be bam, bam, sleeper hold, and that was it. But I never understood.
Right.
That was the problem, Now, it'd be a pleasure to go and get beat up in a minute.
Yeah, no bumps and all.
Yeah.
Jack Brisco, I believe, was the NWA champion in that era. What are your memories of Jack?
Oh, Jack was great. If it wasn't for Jack, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you today. Because I was really getting discouraged, and I said to Jack, and Jack and I, we drove to Jacksonville every Thursday together, and we drove back. So he was very helpful to me. He gave me little insights to the business.
As far as like working with psychology and all? Or?
Yeah, psychology, like I couldn't understand, like young kids today, you get a headlock on them, and the headlock's gone. Well, I worked with Mike Sharp one time. We spent 8 minutes he spent with a headlock on me. But, I was trying to get out of it in various ways.
Yeah.
But it was great. I'll never forget that match.
I love Mike Sharp.
Yeah. He was great. Yeah, but Jack was, very helpful. He said, I was just thinking about him the other day. He said something to me. He said, if you're having a little problem with a guy, that you're wrestling, just let him do his thing, because there's going to come to a point where, the bucket is full. He can't do any more.
Yeah.
And I always remembered that. And I think that as a baby face, I just sold and sold and sold. And Johnny Rodz paid me a compliment when I seen him in Hamburg a couple of years back. He said, if you couldn't work with Tony Garea, you couldn't work with anybody.
You were the measuring stick.
Yeah. And I had so many matches with Johnny. I think I seen one the other day. It was, somebody put one up on Facebook, I think.
Right.
Me and Johnny, yeah. Wasn't bad either, if I do say so myself.
I could watch the
Thank
80s
you,
stuff
Johnny.
way more than I can watch anything today.
Oh, I can't watch anything today.
We'll talk about that coming up.
Yeah.
Other guys that were down there around this period of time, I think Hiro Matsuda was down there.
Yeah.
Bob Orton Jr.
Yeah, he started kind of with me.
Oh, wow.
We used to work out in the ring together.
What do you
And
remember?
Bob is still friends. Yeah, Bob and I are still friends. Yeah.
Robert Fowler was down there.
Yeah. See Bob once in a while.
Dick Slater, Scott Casey.
Yeah.
And, of course, Johnny Valentine. What remembers of Johnny?
I didn't see him too much. I watched him wrestle Jack Brisco in Sarasota, and I think it was a Saturday night show. And I watched him, and he made a believer out of me. Because Jack was selling his leg.
Right.
But Johnny, I mean, I thought to myself, holy Christ, you know. Yeah, what a terrible man. It beating the crap out of Jack Brisco. And I was a worker.
Right.
And I still didn't get it.
Buddy Colt, he was down there as well.
Oh, Buddy was, I seen Buddy down in Florida, and I shook his hand and I thanked him because he was such a gentleman. You know, I was new and he was around, and I forget, he said something to me. And it stuck with me, but I can't remember what the hell it was. But anyway, I thanked him, you know, for being who he was.
Great Mephisto, he was down there, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot to do with him.
You mentioned that Eddie made the call up to Vince Sr.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts of Vince Sr. when you got to New York?
Oh, what a gentleman, you know, like when he walked in the room, you know, it was like, you know, who is this guy type thing.
Larger than life?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was dressed, you know, he had the head on, everything, and he was so good. He said to me one time, he said, Tony, he says, because I questioned him, you know, about how long I was going to be there. He says, as long as I'm alive, you don't have anything to worry about.
Wow. And he's a man of his word, too.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
How would you compare the WWF territory to Florida in terms of schedule and travel back then?
Yeah. Well, back then, actually, you traveled quite a bit in Florida. I think I was doing 2,200 miles a week. You know, going from Tampa to West Palm, and then come back. And Tuesday, I'd go to Fort Myers. Wednesday, be Miami. Thursday, Jacksonville.
Wow.
And, of course, you're coming back to Tampa all the time.
Right.
And then Friday was either Tallahassee or Fort Lauderdale. So that came up to about 2,200 miles a week.
What, were you home every night?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.